Okay, this is another video from the Young Turks. How effective is hashtag activism? Not surprisingly, I've watched about half this video and they somewhat agree with it. The reason you guys agree with it so much is because it keeps you in business. It does nothing to solve the problem, but you still, and so you can keep incessantly bitching about it. It whips people up into a frenzy, so they view your fucking stupid videos, and it creates more money for you. So I can understand why you like hashtag activism, because it's do nothing activism that basically, again, does nothing to solve the problem, and you can make a lot of money off of it. I also love now how more and more people are drinking beer while they're doing their YouTube videos. That's goddamn gimmick infringement.
What's the Elizabeth Warren hashtag?
Even though I highly doubt I'm the first guy to ever drink beer while doing a video.
She persisted.
This
These
is the
hashtags are good
Actually, I know for a fact I'm not.
to talk about the day
Ah, fuck it. I took it over.
of, and I'm all for it. Let's keep that straight. I'm all for them. She persisted, and hashtag dress like a woman. It was
Oh, yeah, I
women
saw that one, yeah.
putting their professions, surgeons, doctors, attorneys, construction, military, and it's like, this is how you dress like a woman, however the fuck you want. And I thought that was yours. I was like, fuck yeah, all right? But then I stopped thinking about it.
Okay, but how is hashtag activism supposed to mean a damn thing? Also, again, you can't exactly dress however the fuck you want. Depends on the situation.
About it the next day.
Right, sure. That's the thing about a hashtag.
So what's the next thing?
She was warned.
Well, most of the time, hashtags are in response to non-issues. So the next thing is nothing. Move on to the next phony fake outrage.
She was given an explanation. Nevertheless, she persisted. Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, again, I enjoy this one too. But I'm not a solution. I can't say this isn't a solution thing, but I'm a solutions-oriented person. So I'm like, oh.
Then you should be opposed to hashtag activism, hashtivism, because, God, I hope that isn't the thing. Is hashtivism a thing? Anyway, then you should be opposed to it, because it does nothing except waste time. People think they've done something when they haven't. And it, again, I fail to see how any hashtag could actually bring about any sort of any meaningful change for anything except, again, bullshit non-issues. Oh, Tom Brady got cut by the Patriots. Hashtag free Brady.
Okay, cool, hashtag that caught fire. Then where does it go?
No, I think
Nowhere. Back to irrelevancy.
hashtags are what's going
And fuck you, you piece of fucking shit. You assaulted a human being, you should be in fucking
to win us.
jail, or at least pay a fine.
The
How fucking Alex Jones didn't sue your sorry ass is beyond me.
back in 2020.
So again, I'll give more background.
And I hate Alex Jones, too. I think that was the guy. And I hate Alex Jones, but when you spit on someone, that's a little bit different.
I mean, that was obviously everyone knows, but just in case. So Elizabeth Warren was disputing the candidacy or the confirmation hearings for Jeff Sessions, and apparently in March of '86, Coretta Scott King had produced a letter she was asking to be read in another confirmation hearing for the same Jeff Sessions. I mentioned this today on the main show. I said, this isn't a different Jeff Sessions.
The same guy.
The same guy. This is not his father, Jeffrey Sessions II. It's the same guy. And she was talking about how he, his not very good record on civil rights issues, how he looks to block. He took his awesome power. I forget the particular line she was cut off, Elizabeth Warren was cut off on in reading, but his awesome power, he takes it to limit the vote in minority communities or black communities in particular. And it was powerful, and it was going to say who this guy is and who he always has been.
And it's 100% true.
Absolutely.
Okay, but here's the problem. There are rules of what can be admitted as evidence of whether or not, just like a court, there are rules about what evidence can be admitted. Again, and I wish Elizabeth Warren would just step down and resign.
Absolutely. And so since we, as Americans, act like we care what Martin Luther King had to say and what he stood for once a year, we...
But here's the thing. You probably going to start crying about it in a minute. There are rules of what can be read, and I don't know the exact. Okay, fuck it. It's possible that she had a time limit of how much time she had to say whatever the fuck she wanted. And if you go over that, then they cut you off. They don't go, oh, well, this is a letter by Coretta Scott King, so we'll just ignore our own rules. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure in the Senate and the House of Representatives, you have a set amount of time where you get to present your fucking case, and if you go over that, they stop you.
act like it.
I mean, they had to have a reason, or again, maybe it's inadmissible because somebody else wrote it and didn't write it to her. Or maybe it's too old. She was talking about an 86 Jeff Sessions, not a 2016 or 2017 Jeff Sessions. Again, I don't get what the hell are you talking about? And granted, I don't know who the fuck Jeff Sessions is. Chances are I'd probably be saying fuck Jeff Sessions, but again, we don't change the rules because a letter was wrote by the daughter of a great man. We don't change the fucking rules, and this is what drives you young Turks nuts, because, somebody you like got told that your time is up, and we don't change the rules because the guy you hate got elected.
She said this is a good opportunity to point out
once a year, but like for a whole weekend. Like
true,
not
right?
not just a day. It's
Some
really,
of us get a day off of work.
It starts on like Saturday evening and it goes pretty much for most of the day Monday.
So it was one of those perfect things where it brought up one of these civil rights icons and their words about a person who's still around today. And
But again, I have to reiterate, these words were wrote in, as you said, 86. Is it possible, just possible, that maybe he's changed some positions on some things?
her views on him, which were fact. And so this was something that was, I think Mitch McConnell evoked Rule 19, which doesn't allow you to speak untoward
matter. You can't speak ill of a colleague. That's basically what it is, even though...
A Senate colleague.
That's
and
right.
by the way, Sessions is a senator, but he's up for a different role right
I know. So
there's so many layers to this.
It's insane. But forget...
My thought would be, this is my personal thought on it, and they got off the hashtag activism pretty quick, so I'm not sure how this went off the rails, but my thought would be, and why I wouldn't allow it if I was in charge, is simply he wrote that letter in 1986, which is 30 years ago. Yes, it's the same guy, but people change. How many times on this program have I changed a position? How many, if presented with a good argument, this is one thing that I cannot stand. This goes for everyone. Conservatives, Republicans, liberals, Democrats, LGBTQ, feminists, any activists at all. Atheists, Christians, Jews, any of them at all. It is perfectly okay for you to change your position. Right now, I am what's known as a skeptical atheist, because if I am watching next year's Super Bowl and Jesus Christ comes down to the 50-yard line and changes water into wine, I'll be the first one to go, well, son of a bitch, there he is. If there's some evidence of Jesus Christ's divinity, then I will have to reevaluate things. This is the problem. He said this reprehensible shit 30 years ago, let's say. Or did this reprehensible shit 30 years ago. That doesn't mean that he doesn't hold the positions now. Give me some evidence that he holds these positions now, within the last 3 years, and maybe I'll take it seriously. But again, I get so tired of somebody that said something fucking once, 20 years ago, and it comes back to bite them in the ass. if they don't hold those positions as of right now, and they said, look, it was a dark time in my life, I fucked up, I'm sorry, I said these horrible things, doesn't mean they hold them now. You know, or when I said that I was younger, through the next 3 decades, I have changed my position because I have been better informed. I have met with people. Like my stance on trans issues, some people don't like. But if a bunch of trannies come to me and they change my mind through argument, then I will change my position. If a feminist can somehow and somehow prove patriarchy exists, I might change my positions. This is the problem that a lot of people have, is they can't change their positions. There's because who they are is in a narrative that they can't change it. If feminism allows itself to, if a feminist who believes that patriarchy is real is allows herself to be swayed by an argument that it's just made up, then she basically, her whole identity gets crushed. You know, what do you think the idea behind Interesting Conversations was? It was almost a little selfish of me to, and again, I like talking to people, but again, it was almost a little selfish of me to get other people's perspectives of how they see it. Okay? I don't think right now we should be giving children hormone treatments because a child says they're trans, they're too young. If, however, you can tell me that somehow they do know it, if you can provide evidence, I still think we should be a little more cautious. Or you can say, well, we can totally reverse it. But I've gotten good evidence to say if they start them early enough, this is a one-way trip. I think that we should be a little more cautious when we give people sexual reassignment surgery, because again, going from male to female, once you cut your dick off, you ain't getting that motherfucker back. And once you go to from female to male, once they attach that fake dick, which by the way doesn't get hard, it's essentially a silicone pee tube. Once you cut your tits off, they ain't coming back. So, I wish we'd be a little more cautious with it. But again, if somebody can provide evidence, blah, blah, blah. Basically, that's it. All right, this one got kind of off the rails. But then again, the video was kind of off the rails. But fuck it. This wraps up this one.